Hey guys, in today's video we will be doing honestly, in this case, this really is a major tropical update because all of a sudden, and honestly, I wasn't expecting this, and I don't think really any of you were really expecting this at all either. On top of this disturbance that we've been monitoring since yesterday, that NHC started monitoring yesterday, in addition, we have our first disturbance out in the MDR region, which is insane. And this third disturbance that is right near the Texas coast, which is not going to do much of anything, really, so we're just going to disregard this, honestly. But let's start talking about these, really these two here. So this first disturbance that is right now north of Cuba, it says there's disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the Bahamas, central and eastern Cuba, and the adjacent Atlantic waters that are associated with a tropical wave. This system is expected to move west-northwestward through the Straits of Florida today, over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday. Where was I? Oh yeah, southeastern Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday, across the central Gulf on Wednesday, and reach the northwestern Gulf on Thursday. Environmental conditions could become a little more conducive for development of this system once it reaches the Gulf of Mexico. Formation chances as of right now over the next 2 days is at a 10% chance. Over the next 5 days is a 20% chance. I think, honestly, should be a little higher for the 5-day percentage. I think it really should be more towards 40 to 50, because it's moving into the Gulf, and the Gulf of Mexico as a whole has very warm sea surface temperatures as it is, and there's really not going to be any other bad conditions like strong wind shear or dry air that will really hinder the system from trying to develop. So I think the system will really try to start to develop right as it starts to head into the Gulf, or right as it starts, or as it's beginning to be in the Gulf. Then for the second disturbance out here in the middle of the MDR, it says shower activity associated with a tropical wave located about 1,000 miles west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands has become a little better organized this morning. Environmental conditions are expected to be marginally conducive for development of this system during the next few days, while it moves westward at 10 to 15 miles per hour over the tropical Atlantic. By Friday and over the weekend, conditions are forecast to become less favorable for tropical cyclone formation. I don't really know what the NHC is talking about for Friday and over the weekend, because honestly it seems it will continue to move westward and enter the Caribbean by what it looks like with what the models are showing. And once it's in the Caribbean, it will really be able to strengthen and form a lot more, so I really don't know what they're talking about there. So, it doesn't fully make sense to me, but if any of you can point out why they're saying that, that would be really helpful in the comments below, after you finish watching this video. The formation chances for this system over the next 2 days is at a 20% chance, as is a 20% chance for the next 5 days. So we have a 20% chance of this system forming within the next 2 to 5 days. So, honestly, I think it will, and it's honestly, well, it's where it is right now. We're shown by this X, where the center of the system really is. It's about to enter the more favorable conditions. So really, this system will start to, I think, really try and develop pretty quickly, pretty soon. So let's look at tropical tidbits. And we'll go and, by the way, just real quick, just to mention this, in the Eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Depression 7 and Potential Tropical Cyclone 8 as well. Potential Tropical Cyclone 8 actually looks fantastic. Tropical Depression 7 looks like shit. Anyway, NVEST's now in the Atlantic. NVEST 90L is that system right off the coast of Texas and Louisiana, and I'm not really going to go over this because it most likely won't do anything at all, won't become anything tropical. I have no idea what the ship model is doing, so just I have no idea, honestly. NVEST 99L is the system in the MDR, and actually let's look at what it looks like right now. Now currently, all right, let's first, before I start to really talk about, there we go, okay, actually it's better now. Now, currently, there's not too much convection at all around the system, but it does have very good spin. It has a lot of spin, and so it is really trying to get formed a lot better, and that looks to continue, honestly, as it continues to head westward. So, honestly, as a whole, the system is looking good for development. In general, the intensity guidance for the system, as of right now, we only have 3 models that we're able to see that are forecasting potentially how strong the system will get. All 3 of them are having it becoming a named storm, which honestly, I really have no doubt that this will become a named storm as well. The ship model has it reaching hurricane status, so honestly, I don't want to overhype this at all, but this is the first system of the year, I think, definitely, that most likely will become our first hurricane of the season. And the ship model also has it reaching hurricane status and even getting to Category 2 status potentially. And honestly, I'm not against that. I do think that there is a possibility that the system could, in fact, become that strong. And if it enters the Caribbean, I also wouldn't rule out the fact that, I mean, who knows? It could really, because of how great the conditions in the Caribbean are, this system could become a major hurricane. I mean, we'll have to see. That's a pretty huge thing to try to become, especially right now. But, that's could be a possibility as well. The other 2 models also practically, but this one has a reaching hurricane status. This model, the LGM model, I'm not really sure what the country this model is from, but I know the GEM model is Canadian model, so maybe this is some kind of Canadian model. But this model has a reaching strong tropical storm status as of right now, but I would assume currently that this model does have it getting into hurricane status at some point. But we'll just have to wait and see over the next day or 2 what this model shows going into a later time. But, the system really does look like it will become a named storm and potentially our first hurricane of the season, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's look at what the Enzo region is like right now, because honestly, that's a pretty important thing to look at. And, right now it's at negative 0.018 degrees Celsius, so it has dropped back to being negative after going pretty far positive, honestly. It's gone like the most positive it has been in months. And finally stopped doing its upward trend that it has been doing since around like the middle of June, and now is starting to cool back down. So that is a good thing, especially if we want to see a lot of tropical activity occur. The Niño 3 region right now is at negative 0.573 degrees Celsius, so it is very cold as well. Very negative. The Niño 4 region is quite above, but it looks like it is trying to start to maybe get a bit cooler, start to cool down a bit. But as of right now, it's at positive 0.349 degrees Celsius. And then the Niño 1+2 region is extremely cold. It's at negative 1.773 degrees Celsius. It has kind of tried to warm up a little bit, but it looks like now it's going back to try to be pretty steady. But it doesn't really matter, honestly, just because it is so cold already there in that region. This is a 7-day change, as you can see over the past week. This is a change in the temperatures there in the Enzo region. It's generally been cooling down with some spots of warming up, but it's generally in general been cooling down a lot. So that's a good thing if we really want to see a lot of activity. Let's look at what the sea surface temperatures are like right now in the Atlantic, and you can see it is pretty much everywhere in the Atlantic is at 80 degrees Fahrenheit or above. The majority of the MDR now is at or above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The entire Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and subtropics region of the Atlantic. The subtropics region is around the Bahamas, southern Florida, Cuba, Hispaniola area. It's all definitely above 80 degrees, even some spots around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So this whole area from the Gulf into the northwestern Caribbean and Straits of Florida and really the southeast coast in general is going to be a huge area we're going to have to watch for potential explosive development for tropical systems going later on into the season, going really through the peak of the season especially, which we are about to enter. We are only, 11 days away from entering, 12 days away from officially entering the peak of the hurricane season this year. So that's pretty scary. But the entire East Coast is honestly very warm. Even off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic and New England, it's honestly a lot warmer than we would think it would be right now. Around 21 degrees Celsius. That's around, I think, 70 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit off of the coast of Connecticut, Rhode Island, the Cape, and closer towards 25 degrees Celsius off the coast of New Jersey. And then it's above 80 degrees, just a little above 80 degrees around the Delmarva area and the, around the Delmarva area in Virginia. So that's really worrying, in all honesty. I'll show you what the models are showing for, especially for what's it called, 99L. We'll do the North Atlantic, and we'll show you all the systems. And you can see for that system, system that's going to go into the Gulf, that is currently like around here for its center. It's around here. It's going to go into the Gulf, but the GFS really is not showing it developing at all. Right now, weirdly, the GFS isn't really showing any of the systems really developing at all, which is very odd, to say the least. Let's look at what the GFS is showing for the vorticity, because that is really something I want to see what it's doing. Why it's not really showing much of anything going on. It's odd. It's not showing really much spin with any of these systems either. So I don't know. I guess the GFS is really flopping with these systems currently. The CMC. Let's show you the CMC. And come on, let it load. All right, let's bring this out. And for that system in the Gulf of Mexico, it really doesn't look like that system will really form at all. You can see that Gulf system at this point, which is at Thursday at 2 p.m., is just off of the Texas coast. Really doesn't have much spin to it. But again, the system in the MDR currently looks like the CMC is on board with it, really trying to strengthen, getting a lot of spin to it. So really going to mainly have to be watching this system, it looks like now. So, you know, that's pretty interesting stuff. If we go back to the precipitation and look at the pressure with this system, the low pressure, let's zoom this in for you guys so you can see this better. Ooh. It has it at 1,007 millibars at around 2 a.m. on Saturday, July 25th. So this Saturday, it's already getting pretty close to the Leeward Islands and closing in on entering the Caribbean. Honestly, it looks like it really is going to enter the Caribbean and not kind of curve north and go like north, kind of do a Dorian in a way, you know, kind of just go to the north and east of Puerto Rico and then like in these areas. Of course, if it does do that, it'll be very interesting to see what'll happen with that, because it'll either, in that case, would either like go out to sea, maybe continue to go westward and potentially go towards the Bahamas and maybe even still go into the Gulf, or affect the East Coast somewhere, something. I don't know, but it really looks like mainly it's going to go into the Caribbean. That's the most likely scenario right now. So, you know, it's not. That's honestly, I'd say a guarantee with this system. I'd really highly doubt that the system is going to curve north or anything. I'm going to show you the European model right now, but unfortunately for the European, I can only show you in the Gulf, which is unfortunate. You know what? I'll just show you the European on Tropical Tidbits. Okay. I'll show you the spin for the European. Yeah. Okay. So the spin of the European's not showing much spin for that system that's currently north of Cuba. That's going to go into the Gulf, so it's agreeing with all the other models. That other system that we're watching, that's in the MDR. I think it's this vorticity here that the European's showing, which I guess currently it looks like it is decent vorticity for it, but as of right now, but I guess it looks like the European is on board with it, so we'll have to watch and see how that goes. Where's the oh, here, wind. What am I doing? Here's the wind. Yeah, so the wind with this system as of right now going out to Thursday, July 30th at 8 p.m. It has winds of up towards 34 knots, but that the European is showing right now. We'll have to see how that goes. But let's go to the 2020 Atlantic Hurricane Season Wikipedia page, and let's just go over this season thus far. We've already had 6 total named storms already. We've had 12 fatalities, and total damage is already at somewhere above $1.275 billion in damage. We've had 6 named systems: Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, Dolly, Edward, and Faye. And in fact, Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, and Faye, 4 of the 6 systems thus far have impacted the United States, 3 of which have impacted the East Coast. Arthur and Bertha impacted areas of South Carolina, North Carolina, and actually Bertha went even farther inland and impacted, like, with its when it was already post-tropical and everything, it was dumping heavier rains and stuff farther inland to Pennsylvania, New York, and all those areas. And then Faye really impacted much of the East Coast, especially north of Virginia up through New England, with rain and wind and rough surf. So Bertha caused somewhere above $200 million in damage. Cristobal caused $675 million in damage. Faye caused $400 million in damage, and you add all those numbers together and you get the total damage cost so far, which is at somewhere above $1.275 billion in damage. Bertha killed 1 person, Cristobal killed 5 people, and Faye killed 6 people, so I'll add all those together and you have our official total of deaths so far, which is 12. For these next 2 systems that we're watching, the one that is currently north of Cuba and that will go into the Gulf, and the one in the MDR, I think we'll really only get Gonzalo out of this, which I think will be the MDR system. So it looks like, honestly, I was forecasting for Hannah to become our first hurricane season. Looks like Gonzalo will be, potentially. And by the way, I was also forecasting for right around the July 20th for the tropical activity to really heat up and really become a lot, we'll have a lot more tropical activity potentially to track, and it has turned out to be correct, and looks like, honestly, that'll continue potentially going through the rest of July into August. So got a lot of interesting stuff to potentially track going forward from today onward. I still think Hannah will become our first major hurricane of the season. We'll see about Gonzalo. I mean, honestly, potential Gonzalo, which would be the MDR system, could become a major hurricane. We'll have to see, but honestly, I think it'll be Hannah. Or at least I think Hannah will be our first Category 5 hurricane of the season. We'll see about that, because that is a huge thing to really call for, especially as of right now. But we'll have to see. But the point is, as of today, we are really starting to get a lot more tropical activity. The tropics are really heating up now, and it looks like it'll continue from this day onward through the rest of July, getting into August, getting into the beginning of the peak of the season. So that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.